Good day, my fellow travelers and backpackerinos. Welcome to another episode of On the Road at the Speed of Mike. Today's episode, we're gonna head into Alabama, home to Forrest Gump. Hello, Jenny.
Like Forrest Gump, Sweet Home Alabama, and Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby have taught me anything, it's that Alabama is the epicenter of the South. We'll see if it lives up to the hype as our journey through Alabama is going to start in the state's capital, Montgomery. Since its inception as a state, the capital city's changed 5 times until settling on its current location on Capitol Hill, or Goats Hill, as it was formerly known. And since we're in the South, of course it was the capital of the Confederacy for a short time before it was moved to Richmond. Like every other southern state we visited, its grounds are full of Civil War monuments. The Confederate Memorial Monument is the most prominent of these structures, and while it still stands as a war memorial, its Confederate military branch battle flags have long since been taken down. While some flags have gone down, the Avenue of Flags features the flags of every state in the Union with accompanying bases of native stone. The Capitol's seen the likes of Jefferson Davis and Martin Luther King walk upon its steps. Both Capitol and city itself were a prominent location during the Civil Rights Movement, as it was the endpoint for the Selma to Montgomery marches. Like a few state capitals we've already visited, Montgomery is on the smaller side. It's populated with old Southern-style homes, Baptist churches, and just a few larger buildings that keep its character and atmosphere from being overwhelmed. While the Riverwalk features the likes of country singer Hank Williams and the city's minor league baseball team, the Biscuits, remnants of the Civil War and the Civil Rights Movement are found all over the city, from the Winter Building to the Rosa Parks boycott bus. River District, where slaves were bought and sold before the Civil War, sits the National Memorial of Peace and Justice. And I don't know who these hippies are, they just kind of showed up out of nowhere. The center is brand new. It was built just last year in 2018, and it's meant to highlight everything from slavery to lynchings in America. It's actually 2 separate sites, a museum and a memorial, and each has its own entrance fee. I only went to the memorial, which is a park landscape with statues and a center structure composed of 805 hanging metal boxes representing every county in America where lynchings occurred. I typically don't like abstract angular art like this, but this did an okay job in the symbolism sense. The slavery statues outside are more evocative in my opinion. While the center points out that not all lynching victims were black, and I'll add that not all lynch mobs were white, and not all lynching victims were innocent of their accused crimes of rape and murder, the point of the memorial is the racial nature behind most of these lynchings and how even a victimizer can become a victim when due process is thrown into the wind because of skin color. I'll compare that to the Confederate War memorials, where not all Confederates were slaveholders, but truly fought for what they thought was states' rights and liberty. So you could say these memorials are celebrating bravery and sacrifice, be it misguided or not, rather than the institution of slavery. Either way, these monuments are the stories of 2 peoples, both American and yet still divided, but less so today than in the past that they each memorialize, and the city is richer for having both in my opinion.
Well, my fellow buckaroos, I don't mean to break character, but we finally driven into spring from winter by driving north and then south. You're bound to cross a season or 2 on the way, and we have done that. It's nice and warm now. Rejoice! Rejoice! That's from Split, if you didn't know. Normally, when I think of Alabama, the first thing that comes to my mind is South Park's spoof commercial about Alabama man that goes, Alabama man, he's quick, he's strong, he's active. And there's really so much more to the state than just that. Now that I've actually kind of stopped here and looked around and stuff, like Bamahenge. What you're seeing around me is Bamahenge in Alabama. So it's just a partial representation of what I think the Stonehenge site was supposed to be, or the whole entire thing was intended to be, but either way, it doesn't look real, but it's cool to see the actual, correct size to get a sense of the depth of it. And it is a really peaceful area. It's nice to hear the birds instead of cars in the background. So it's made out of foam and not rocks, obviously. So they should probably call it foamhenge. You think Bamahenge was the only thing we were gonna see in this forest? Check that out, huh? It's a dinosaur. So here we have Triceratops, which is, again, not the most structurally correct, not the prettiest, but it's still pretty cool. And I guess the guy who made all this stuff was a millionaire, and he just kind of felt like making a Stonehenge and dinosaurs and whatever else is here. And I think that's pretty cool that he made something that everyone can enjoy rather than, just keeping it on his private property. So definitely got to give him props for that. And just when we thought we were done, Lady in the Lake. So that was Bamahenge, dinosaurs, and Lady in the Lake in Alberta, Alabama. I'm not gonna say it's a must-see, but it was certainly interesting, wasn't it? I don't know what Buc-ee's is, but it sounds very Alabama-y. Just when you thought we were finished with Alabama, here we have the USS Alabama.
If you're a fan of weapons of war and history, this is the place for you. With a motor pool ranging from Gulf War booty, Cold War jet fighters, World War II tanks, and bombers, there's plenty to see in this state park. There's a parking fee of $4, which includes access to everything on the grounds except for the battleship, and if you actually want to go inside the Alabama, it costs $15. Obviously, I skipped it. What can I say? I'm cheap, and there's already plenty to see on the grounds. Stopped in downtown Mobile, but I didn't really know what to see there, and I just ended up cutting through on the highway.
Well, I hope you enjoyed Alabama. Up next, we're gonna head into Florida.